Hello. My name is Callista, and welcome back to the Séance of Blake Manor. In the last episode, we completed the last remaining mystery that was open to us. I am thinking there might be another one, because here's the thing. So we have Domhnall, however Domhnall is missing. So we just have Jonathan, Walter, and Simon. We don't have any specific mysteries for these three yet. However, there was one space left on the gauge. So I'm wondering if there might be like a last minute, oh, you've got to solve this for this person. I'm wondering if there's going to be a last minute mystery that only comes up in the last few hours of the day. Like immediately before the seance. I'm wondering if that's going to happen. But yeah, as you can see, everyone else has been cleared off the board. We are only at 3 minutes past 4. The seance takes place at 9 p.m. So we have 5 hours to play with. We have 5 hours to play with. I get the feeling that I may end up, just passing the time at an hourglass, because I mean, I've read all of the books in the library, so I can't even go and do that. So we have reflections for everyone. I want to go around asking everyone about the reflections. I want to have a good long chat with Simon, because he's raising all sorts of red flags. And I've also been told that everyone's opinions of Mr. Skerritt are quite funny, so I also want to ask everyone about him. But aside from that, I'm good. Unless something opens up for one of these three characters, I'm good. Now, I did say I wanted to do some discussions, some theory crafting, because we've got a few things at play right now. There's the big plot hook of what happened to Norman Blake. So that would be, it's some relation of Jonathan's. I'm not sure if Norman was an uncle, a cousin, but he's an offshoot of the Blakes. And we know that he was dicking about in the catacombs and he died down there. Something went wrong. There was an explosion or something. But, something happened in the catacombs and he died. And here's the thing. I said before, if Norman is still alive, because we went to check in the library, and all of the books on Norman Blake have vanished. Suspicious. Deeply suspicious. So I see one of two possibilities. Either Norman is still alive, and he's come back for revenge, in which case I'm pretty sure that the only people that would be Mr. Skerritt and Father Sinnott, because they're the only people old enough. However, I don't think this is likely, considering we had mysteries for these two people. And we've solved them. It would feel really weird if Father Sinnott, the Aeon, and also I'm secretly a Blake, or Mr. Skerritt, I'm gonna kill myself so that I can be the first ghost ever to speak and I'll be loved. And also I'm Norman Blake. It would be weird. It would be really weird. So the other option we have is, did Norman have a child? In which case the child has come back. Now, I think if we go off that, I think Caitlin would be the right age. And, Norman Blake has a daughter, she flees, she gets taken in by poor Irish, people, and they raise her to be a servant. That could work. But again, we had her story. She wants to stone Carmela because you're a witch and all this, that, and t'other. And I'm actually, it would be weird. Would be less so if Simon was a Blake. If Simon was secretly a Blake, I'm pretty sure he said he arrived in London as an orphan, but his mother loved jewels. How many orphans can claim, my mother loved jewels? My mother was of a social standing where she had access to high-quality jewels, and I also learnt about them. Because that's how he was able to get a shop in the jewellers. He knew about that shit. How many orphans would be able to claim that unless they came from wealth? I think this is the son of Norman Blake. I think this isn't Simon Coventry, it's Simon Blake. And he's come back for revenge, maybe, to get what is rightfully his. I'm not entirely sure. We also have, I don't know what to make. I don't know what to make of that scene. Where everyone was like, the young master, da-da-da-da-da. Because Declan said, oh, they got a bit funny when they started talking about the Blakes. No, they weren't talking about the Blakes. They were talking about Walter. They weren't talking about Walter and Jonathan. They were literally just going on about the young master, the young master. I did think So we know that Simon has left everything to Walter. He's left everything to Walter in his will. I did think... So my initial thoughts were... I thought that Walter was the secret love child of Simon and Mary Blake. And we also... with the theory crafting, my mind has it's like a board with a bunch of red strings and I'm hopping from string to string. I do apologise. It's a little bit hot. It's a wee bit hot in the back room today. I'm going to just take a sip of my drink. And hopefully get back on track. Or at least try to formulate everything so that I can succinctly connect it all together. I needed that. I'm so glad I always have a drink with me. I'm so glad. Okay, so there's a thing with the Milesians, and they had, there were 3 of them, and it seems like, so Evelyn was descended from a Milesian. It seems very likely that Domhnall was descended from another, which means we're looking for a 3rd descendant. I think that's going to be the Blakes. And my first thought, if Simon isn't a Blake, I thought, okay, Walter is his secret love child with Mary. Jonathan is obviously like, oh, when will Walter come into his magic? When will he come into his magic? He's not. Well, shit. You know, my wife had an affair. And I was thinking maybe he's done all of this because, I'm really fucking pissed that my kid isn't biologically related to me. So I've done all of this. I'm going to summon my wife to have it out with her. Why have you done this? However, if Walter is Simon's child, then if Simon is a Blake, like I think he is, then that would mean that Walter would have magic. So maybe Jonathan found out about it a different way. Maybe Mary left a diary and he was like, shit, I don't know. I feel, but then why the weirdness? Here's the thing, if we've got that, why the weirdness? With Walter, why did it seem like the staff have been ensorcelled? I'm having a moment. I would put money on a number of plot points. I think I'm right with a decent number of things. I think Simon is a Blake. I think the Blakes are going to be the 3rd descendants of the Milesians. It's going to be the Deans, the O'Finns, and the Blakes. I start to run into issues when it comes to Walter. And I don't like the fact, we don't actually have a picture for Walter. We have his portrait. We don't have an actual image of okay, this is him. This is what he looks like. It's only the portrait. I think... as I said, I would happily put money on Simon being a Blake and the Blakes being descended from the Milesians. I would put money on that. I don't... The staff have clearly been magicked when it comes to Walter. They've clearly been magicked. But for the why... I don't... I'm not... I don't know. I don't know. Okay, sir. Sir, speak to me. Speak to me.
Mr. Ward, how are you?
Suspicious. Okay. What did we ask you about? I want to see this again. You mentioned you were a jeweller. I am, or rather I was. I ended up in London alone as a young lad, nothing to my name, but my mother did love jewels, and so, as a result, did I. Okay, so he didn't say I was in London as an orphan, but then again, why are you alone? Why are you alone in London as a child? My mother had loved jewels, past tense. To me, this implies my mother had loved jewels, i.e. she died. And again, the fact that your mother had access to jewels would imply she's upper class. She has money. Yeah, your mother loved jewels to the point where you were able to pick that up. You knew about this stuff. And that's why you got raised up. Sir, I want to discuss everything. Okay. This is a fine location, is it not? I only wish I knew how to capture it. Do you paint, sir? In fact, I do. It helps keep my hands steady, which is useful for my work. Have you painted much while here? Not as much as I'd hoped. There is so much happening that I'm not left with the energy. What have you painted? A landscape? I couldn't say, sir. It is work that was done in confidence. Oh, a commission? Something of the sort, but I couldn't say more. It wouldn't be gentlemanly. And again, you've been very cagey about how much you knew Miss Dean. Caitlin? Oh, why, yeah, Miss Dean, she was in and out of his room all the time. You told us, oh, I barely had a conversation with her. And then at dinner, oh, yeah, we were drinking buddies. And now, clearly your commission was with Evelyn. You were painting Evelyn. And you're being very like, oh, I couldn't possibly. Why couldn't you say I was painting Evelyn? Why not? Then again, maybe some kind of decorum issue, but like, still. This, I don't. There we go. I don't trust you, sir. Your wife? Would you have a picture I could see? Ah, those were in my room. I'll remember to take one when I'm next there to show you later on. Bullshit! You lying! The game? Game are you? The game seems to be having issues. I find I just cannot sleep well here. I hope you are faring better. Ah, well, I have pills that help with that sort of thing. I'd wager I could fall asleep on a battlefield once I've taken them. Nothing, not even dreams, get through. Or at least I certainly don't recall anything in the mornings. The young Master Walter Blake. Do you know much of the lad? Well, not a whole lot. He was in a carriage accident some years back, the one his mother died in. I gather it left the boy scarred, both mentally and physically. He doesn't come out when the hotel has guests. I relate to him, in a way. I lost my mother when I was young, too, so at least he is not entirely alone. One couldn't be too lonely, I suppose, in a large house surrounded by staff. Okay. But yes, so he did lose his man. What did you think of the mass ball? I've never been to anything like it. When you get to my age, you think you've seen everything. Evidently, I was wrong. I saw a great many things. I had conversations with all manner of near-human things. It should have been terrifying, but it was all so exhilarating. I am left entirely drained by it today, though. You know what, fuck it. I want to speak to you about everything, so I am going to do so. Have you spoken to the cook, Miss Murphy? No, I don't need to distract her from her duties. Yeah, I would imagine on most of it you won't have much. Have you spoken to Miss Quinn? Not too much. She always seems so engrossed in her work that I thought it best to leave her be. But we did have a brief chat about poetry one evening. I hope she enjoyed the break from her work. And Michael? Have you had the opportunity to meet Mr. Scarrett? The Freemason? Oh, I think I'm not meant to let that slip. Then again, he told me in no great confidence. I think he wanted to impress me. He seems a fine enough chap. I'll make sure to get a business card from him. Can't hurt to get in with that crowd. Okay. And the big gaze? Have you met Miss MacLeod? A charming girl by all accounts. I'm surprised she's allowed to be here, though. I wonder what her father thinks of all of this. And that dazed look in her eyes, you'd swear she was under the influence. But technically she is. Because of Mrs. Lau. Have you had the opportunity to meet Mrs. Lau? Miss MacLeod's chaperone. Only through her companion. She seems as out of place here as myself. Have you had the opportunity to speak with Miss Hasham? Devastatingly bright, that woman, though she seems to get distracted mid-conversation. We were talking about the claiming of artifacts from occupied territories and she just went cold. Father Sinnott? Have you met Father Sinnott? He's a curious sort, isn't he? Very stern, though I suppose in some ways this is a rather serious event, so truthfully I can't blame him for it. He spends a lot of time wandering the grounds, blessing it for what is to come, he tells me. Have you met the housekeeper? Mrs. Joyce? Chatty woman? No love lost on our resident mystics, certainly. Word to the wise, don't ask her about Miss Mantovani. I think it very nearly killed her. And Thea? Have you had the opportunity to speak with Miss Callahan? Not as much. She spends a lot of her time out in the maze, but my knees aren't up for that. Not in this weather. And Rory? Excuse me. Have you had the opportunity to meet Dr. Callahan? I have indeed. A fine fellow. We've had some discussions about the whole idea behind this event. The nature of seances and such. I must say I'm surprised to meet a doctor who's both that and any sort of magician. But that just goes to show how much I have to learn. And what do you have to say about Jonathan? Have you spoken to Marquess Blake yet? A few times. The poor man. The things he suffered. The loss of his wife, injuries to his son. I can see why he'd invest in an event like this so heavily. Have you spoken to Mr. Hunter? He collected me off the train and brought me over. Fine fellow. Seems to know a bit about magic himself, which took me by surprise. And Walter. Actually, I'll leave Walter till last. What are your thoughts on Miss Mantovani? I gather she is very well respected in the field. She's quite the catch for an event as far off as this. Indeed, I think she's the sole reason so many have come this far. She gave me a reading. It all sounded very impressive, but didn't make all that much sense to me, I'm afraid. What was the reading? What was the reading? Have you had any dealings with Mrs. Darcy? That one's a firecracker, that's for certain. She seems quite friendly with Mr. Dupre. Questionably so for a married woman. I gather some people expected her husband here, but he couldn't make it in the end. 'Cause he's dead. Have you spoken to Mr. Dupre? He seems like a good man, and doing quite well for himself, if I do say so. It was nice to talk to another genuine businessman for a while. And well, we discussed our recent bereavements too. I hope he finds a good resting place for his friend. reporter. Doyle is his name, isn't it? I don't want to spread rumours, but I think he might have been drunk or on something when he took my bags. But I suppose we all have our crosses to bear. What are yours? What are yours, sir? Have you met Miss Barbosa? Happily, I caught her for a few moments whilst out walking on one of the less damp days. I've never met anyone from Brazil before, so I was rather pleased to. She seemed interested in the local area and its history, which I happened to have read up on a bit for this trip. I was no help to her, really, but it was nice to talk about something normal while here. Can you tell me anything on Mr. O'Meara? Oh, well, we spoke, but he quickly grew bored, I'm afraid. I'm not very versed in all this magic stuff, you see. What do you make of Mr. O'Finn? We've not properly met. An odd fellow to see at a gathering like this. But then, what do I know about gatherings like this? Quite the character, though. He strikes a mighty portrait, wouldn't you say? Have you spoken with Mrs. Erickson? Not much. I think she's more interested in speaking with the other magicians. I don't mind. I can't blame her for it. Have you had the opportunity to meet Mr. Toussaint? We first met at dinner a few evenings back. Once he learned I wasn't... What did he call it? A practitioner? He softened towards me. And Vincent? Have you met the manager? Mr. Barley? Only in passing. He's taken every opportunity to ensure I'm well, but doesn't make much conversation outside of that. And Walter. If I understand correctly, the Marquess has a son living somewhere in the manor. He lives in their private residence off the East Wing, I believe. I saw him once, being wheeled through the grounds, but that was only from a distance. Really? I gave him a wave and he returned it, but I'll admit it was lackluster. Not used to people, a bit of a recluse. Having lost his mother at such a young age, that is understandable. Yeah, we've done everything.
Good day, sir. And to you.
I neither like nor trust this. As I said, I would put money on him being Simon Blake. I would put money that Coventry is a fake surname and his real name is Simon Blake. I would put money on that. Because the whole Norman thing, it's... The fact that the books are missing. The books have all been taken. That screams to me, this character is important. We have no one the right age that it would make sense in terms of writing. If it was Mr. Scarrett or Father Sinnott, the writing would be messy. It doesn't make sense for Norman to be here. But if Norman had a child, that would make sense. And of the remaining people, only Simon is left. I would put money on him being a Blake. I don't know what the fuck is happening with Walter. And that peeves me. That pisses me off because I'm like, there's something. The staff have all been ensorcelled when it comes to Walter. Not the Blake family, as Declan said, they were speaking about Walter. They were going on about Walter. And then there's the Simon's connected to Walter. Because he's left everything to Walter in the will. Oh, I don't like this music. I keep going to M for map and it's not. Okay. With that done, I'm thinking, Yeah, I think at this stage, I'm just going to go around. I'm going to ask everyone about Michael and their reflections. And then I think we skip ahead to the seance if nothing happens, because I can't... There's nothing for me to do.
You again?
Me again. Okay, so, first things first. What do you think of Michael? Have you spoken to Mr. Skerritt? Briefly. He introduced himself to me. Seems to know some family of mine. Seemed to know me too, but I don't recall him. I've tried to place him. I asked about his family, but it seems he has none. He went a bit quiet then, so I left. I don't want to come here to see an old man reflect on his wasted life. Damn! Jesus!
Do you have much understanding of what your angel wants of you?
Not yet. Something physical, I know that. Whatever it wants of me, I need to be healed. I can feel my body recovering at an accelerated rate since pledging myself to it.
That's concerning.
I assume its intentions will become clear to me soon enough. But first, the seance, then a visit to my mother. I have put her to worry for all too long. I need to assure her that what comes next is a divine quest, and so, safe. It's silly, but that will put her at ease. The only challenge will be getting her to believe me. It is, admittedly, something of a change of character.
Okay.
I'll be off, Mr. O'Mara.
Don't let me keep you.
You know what, let's see if there is anyone inside the church. Hello. Anything hidden away in here? It's just like let me just check the pews. Okay, no. Yeah, the candles. Ooh. The Bible, written in English. It's opened on 2 Corinthians 4:18. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. I feel like that could be a clue. I feel like out of everything you could have the Bible opened on, you have it on that. Don't look at what you can see. Try and find the connections that aren't there, that aren't so obvious. You know what? Actually, Careful, I'm coming back to you. Hello.
You again?
Indeed. I also want to speak to you. There you are. Do you know anything about Marquess Blake's son? Well, I know all this will be his when his father passes. The last surviving Blake, if you can call his state surviving. Not that I can comment on anyone's physical health. Okay.
I'll be off, Mr. O'Mara.
Don't let me keep you.
Because I'm thinking, I find it interesting that, oh my god, Simon, there we go. I find it interesting that Simon was like, oh, yeah, I saw Walter out and about and he waved at me. Because outside of the staff and Jonathan, I would be curious if anyone else has said, oh yeah, I saw Walter. Because if no one else can confirm that, we know the staff have been magicked with something regarding Walter. We know that Simon is throwing up a lot of red flags. Curious.
Again? What else could you possibly want with me?
To ask you questions. First, about Skerritt. Have you met Mr. Skerritt? Oh, yes. He introduced himself to me. He was very interested to hear about my work, of course. We've actually met before, but he doesn't seem to recall. Okay. And Walter. I don't suppose you've met the Marquess's son. His son? I didn't know he had one. He can't be the social sort. Okay, you didn't even know Walter existed. Okay. Wherefore? There.
What will you do after this?
If you must discuss it. Now that I know I am forever doomed, I think I am done with this life. I will return to New York and my husband, and try to find some way to enjoy this joyless experience. He will be happy, I am sure. It will free some storage space for his golf trophies.
Damn, okay. Okay.
I won't bother you anymore, Mrs. Erickson.
Goodbye now.
Damn. Damn. I didn't even know that she had a husband. The way she talked about him, my goodness. Is it just you and Etienne? Yeah, okay.
Ah, Declan. Aren't you fierce good coming back to see me?
Okay, let's discuss. Michael? Have you met Mr. Scarrett? Oh, Lord have mercy on anyone cursed enough to have to deal with this small-minded Amadan. He has strong opinions for a man who's achieved so little in his life. Achieved so little with so much, I might add. If you or I had been born with a spoon so silver in our mouths, we might have changed the world. Instead, he decided to I'm going to assume that is he shoved it up his own arse. Instead, he decided to shove it up his own phone and do nothing. Okay. Fair play. Do you know young Walter Blake? Well, I've heard of him. Everyone local has. Had hoped I'd get a good look at him while I was here, but he really does stick to the shadows, doesn't he? And yet, apparently, he was being wheeled around before.
Satisfied?
Oh, gods, no. The seance is still going ahead. Damage will still happen. But we've protected the well. And I think a rift between Rory and I is mended. Declan, I'm so proud of him.
Aww.
What a fool I was to be such a stick in the mud. I should have trusted his new ways, and in doing so, had faith in myself as a teacher. I guess one always worries they've not done enough to prepare their young'uns. But you have to let them fly, I suppose. And Rory, he soared.
Aww.
I'll let you go.
You take care now, Declan, and don't forget to get a bite to eat into you. It's going to be a long day.
Okay, well, in the next episode we will speak to Etienne and see what he is going to do after this. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members such as SM2K, Christopher K. Davies, CGG, and Kevin Bicknell. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.